You can feel it, can't you? That quiet trembling beneath the surface of your life. It's not chaos, not quite, but a kind of stillness so loud it feels almost unbearable. Like standing in a room where everything has been stripped bare, and all that remains is you. And in that space, something ancient rises. A feeling that whispers, it's close. This isn't an ordinary moment. It's liminal space. A spiritual twilight, where the old has begun to fade but the new hasn't yet arrived. You are no longer who you were, but not yet who you're becoming. And in this sacred in-between, the divine feminine is asked to face herself without distraction. To sit in the stillness and not run. To hear her own breath and not fill the silence. To feel the ache and stay open. You've done the work. You've cried on moonlit nights and begged the stars for answers. You've surrendered, let go, reclaimed, and released. So naturally, a part of you hoped that this would be the moment it all began to feel soft. You imagined that once you had healed enough, you'd finally arrive at a place where love would just pour in, effortlessly, beautifully, freely. But instead, the universe brings you here. Into the eye of the storm. Into a moment so raw that you question whether everything you believed in was just a dream. It feels cruel, perhaps, until you realize, this stillness, this storm, it's not punishment. It's the final crucible. Because before divine union arrives in the physical, it must be fully anchored in your energy. Not the energy of longing, or grasping, or seeking validation, but the energy of truth. And truth is quiet. It's simple. It's unwavering. This final test is not about how much you've waited, or even how much you've suffered. It's about whether you've finally remembered, you are the miracle you've been praying for. This test is not about them. It never was. It's about who you've become in their absence. Whether you've alchemized the pain into purpose. Whether you've allowed the silence to become your sanctuary. Whether, in the sacred stillness before the storm, you've remembered who you are without needing anyone else to. And that is when the shift begins. There comes a point in your journey when the silence isn't just silence, it becomes a mirror. A reflection of all the places where you still seek certainty, reassurance, control. And in that mirror, the divine feminine is being shown what love truly means, not the love of fairy tales or fantasy, but the kind of love that asks everything of you, especially your ability to let go. Right now, it may feel like you're walking blindfolded through fog. The one your soul remembers may be distant or unresponsive. They may seem emotionally shut down, unavailable, or even unaware of what you carry so deeply. That silence can feel unbearable. But beloved, it's in that void that something sacred is happening. Because true love, the kind your soul came here to embody, is not rooted in reaction. It's rooted in resonance. You are being asked to love without conditions. Not because you're supposed to be a martyr or because pain is noble, but because real love is never dependent on outcome. You are being asked to hold your vibration, your grace, your truth, even when the external world gives you nothing in return. That is spiritual sovereignty. That is the divine feminine becoming whole. And yes, it's terrifying. Because to love without knowing if they'll ever choose you back, to give up the chase, the fantasy, the illusion, is to walk through fire. But that fire, it doesn't burn away your worth. It burns away the lies that told you love was only safe if it came with proof. When you trust without evidence, you're not being foolish. You're being free. Free of the illusion that love is something you must earn. Free of the old belief that you are only worthy when someone chooses you. When you speak your truth without needing validation, when you remain soft without needing to be rescued, you become the embodiment of divine love itself. And that is what calls union forward. Not waiting for someone else to complete the story, but stepping fully into the story as its author. The divine feminine doesn't love because she is promised something in return. She loves because it is her nature, her power, her remembrance. And that kind of love, it changes everything. There is a point on the sacred path where the pain no longer comes from being unloved. It comes from realizing how long you believed you had to earn love in the first place. And this is where the final illusion begins to unravel. The illusion that told you, if you are perfect, you'll be chosen. If you sacrifice enough, they'll stay. If you wait long enough, it will finally be your turn. These are not truths. They are wounds dressed up as wisdom. And now, the soul can no longer carry them forward. This final test, this storm, asks you to release the version of yourself who once believed love was a transaction. It calls you to lay down the armor of performance and the ache of overgiving. Not because love has failed you, but because love is ready to meet you in a new form, one that is not born of suffering, but of sovereignty. To receive that kind of love, you must first become it. That's why everything around you may seem to be falling apart. Friendships that once made sense feel heavy. Work that once fulfilled you now feels like a cage. Even your body may feel foreign, as if it too is shedding layers of old survival energy. This is not your life breaking, it is your life reorganizing itself around your truth. What's dissolving isn't random. It's sacred. The universe is not punishing you. It's preparing you. You are being stripped of timelines that were built on fear, scarcity, self-doubt, and emotional dependency. Timelines where you had to chase, convince, beg, or shrink in order to be loved. Those realities cannot carry the woman you're becoming. And yes, it hurts. Letting go of illusions often does. But the pain is not your enemy. It is the fire that burns away everything false, everything outdated, everything misaligned with your divinity. The woman who will hold divine union does not come from desperation. She rises from remembrance. She knows that love doesn't demand her to shrink, but to expand. She no longer clings to potential. She no longer waits in the shadows. She stands in the light, whole and open, knowing that what is real will rise to meet her. So if you feel like you're falling apart, know this, you're not breaking down. You're breaking open. And what emerges from that is not a version of you that needs to earn love, it's the version that is love. And she is unstoppable. You are not being asked to wait anymore. You are being asked to awaken. Not for him. Not for the union. But for you. The old self believed waiting was love. That stillness meant loyalty. That devotion equaled sacrifice. But the version of you emerging now knows something deeper. You are not here to postpone your joy until he arrives. You are not here to delay your purpose until the relationship aligns. You are not here to make yourself small, quiet, or invisible just to hold space for his process. That was never your soul's agreement. Your true power lies not in how long you can endure, but in how boldly you can rise. This is the moment where the divine feminine begins to walk forward, not out of anger, not out of fear, but out of clarity. The clarity that says, I am worthy now. I am whole now. I am love now. Whether he is beside me or not. And when you step into that knowing, the field around you transforms. No longer does it vibrate with lack or longing. It vibrates with abundance, sovereignty, and magnetism. You no longer chase. You attract. You no longer explain. You embody. And in that shift, the mirror must reflect something new, because your energy no longer tolerates anything less than truth. This is where real union begins. Not from clinging, but from coherence. Not from waiting to be seen, but from seeing yourself. Not from begging for reciprocation, but from living in such alignment that the only things that remain in your life are those that match your frequency. You are not here to rescue him from his pain. You are not here to convince him of your worth. You are here to remember that the version of you who thought she needed saving was never broken, she was just asleep. Now you are waking. Now you are rising. And when you finally choose to stand fully inside your own light, the miracle doesn't just come, it recognizes you. Because divine union doesn't arrive when you finally feel enough for someone else. It arrives when you become enough for yourself, and live like it. When everything starts to unravel, it's natural to feel afraid. Your mind might tell you that you've failed, that you've regressed, that all your efforts to grow and heal were for nothing. But the soul knows better. The soul recognizes chaos as the threshold of transformation. The storm is not a punishment. It is the portal. And if you are standing inside it now, know this, you are closer than you've ever been. This storm, the confusion, the detachment, the ache that sits quietly in your chest, is not here to take something from you. It's here to return you to yourself. To strip away the final illusions, to purify your heart of fear, to recalibrate your energy so that only truth remains. You are not falling apart. You are falling inward, into the deepest alignment you've ever known. You no longer need to wait to be chosen. You already are. The divine doesn't make mistakes with timing. If you are in this storm, it's because your soul chose to evolve. And evolution always feels like death at first, because parts of you are dying. The part that clung. The part that feared. The part that confused love with longing. They are being buried now, so that something greater can rise in their place. The ache you feel is not emptiness, it's expansion. Your soul is stretching to hold more light, more love, more truth than ever before. That stretch is uncomfortable, yes. But it is also sacred. And when the dust settles, when your tears have softened into wisdom and the silence has turned into serenity, you'll see clearly. It wasn't about them. It was about you. It was always about you. Because the miracle didn't begin when someone else chose you. It began the moment you chose yourself. The moment you stopped chasing love and became the vibration of it. That's the thing about lighthouses. They don't chase. They don't beg the ocean to notice them. They simply stand, anchored, radiant, certain, and they shine. And one day, the ship does return. Not because it was forced to, but because the light could no longer be denied. So hold your light, beloved. Even in the rain. Even when you're weary. Even when everything feels upside down. This storm is your final initiation. It's the divine's way of asking, can you trust the miracle before it arrives? Can you become the love before it's reflected? If the answer is yes, then take heart. The miracle is not coming. It's already on its way.